Hey, this is Vickie, and I'm coming to you from Upper Room Ministries, giving you a daily dose of spiritual oxygen. And I just want to share with you that this is a message unlike my usual messages. This is a personal testimony of hope that does not disappoint. I need to share this with you because in Romans 5, it says, we will boast of our afflictions because in our afflictions we will have perseverance, and perseverance we will have hope. Oh no, endurance, and endurance will have character, and character will have hope, and hope will not disappoint. Well, many years ago, I actually questioned the Lord, like pointing fingers at him and said, you said hope wouldn't disappoint. And you know what? Why am I so disappointed? So, in other words, I was thinking naturally, not supernaturally. Can you grab that word, put it in your knowing place journal, and began to use, I'm determined to live a supernatural lifestyle, not a natural one, which means my gaze has to be on what the supernatural says. If you have been with me for a while, you probably have a lot of words, verbs are action, in your knowing place journal. And I'm inviting you to the biggest one for today for me. Hope that does not disappoint. Well, remember, I shouted at the Lord, why am I so disappointed? Well, he said, because you're doing things your way, not my way. All right, now, let me tell you something. This message is about for you if you have given up hope on your spouse, your children, situations in your work, anything like that. If you've given up hope, this is for you. Many years ago, when I was really struggling emotionally with depression and that sort of thing, I was just really at a very low point. Someone read to me this book called Hope for the Flowers, okay? Hope for the Flowers is about a little caterpillar who it loses hope, actually, and but finds out that he has actually been designed with a trajectory to become a butterfly. And at the end of the book, I don't, spoiler alert, he becomes a butterfly. But until then, this poor little caterpillar is just really struggling, like, where's my hope in this world? So when I read it at my low point, I was like, yeah, that's right. Where is my hope? Where is it? So fast forward. Now, relationships all have their highs and lows, don't they? Your relationship in your marriage has its highs and lows, your relationship with kids, highs and lows, etc. Parents, highs and lows, etc. Now, here's the thing. That was about 30 years ago or 25 years ago. I'm not 100% sure. But you get the point. A long time ago, and I had lost hope. Someone read Hope for the Flowers, and this little caterpillar becomes a butterfly. At that time, I've been praying for my marriage, and I had an okay marriage, but it wasn't a great marriage. It is an okay marriage where I really had to fight for it every day. And of course, the natural misunderstandings that happen where you think you're communicating, but you're actually not. You think you've gotten your intentions set straight, you didn't, and you're not communicating with each other very well. Well, that happened over and over, okay? So 30 years ago, Hope for the Flowers, frustrated with marital up and downs, because can I just be honest, I wanted to have a Kodak moment almost in every situation. So a lot of times in my marriage, I would try to create a Kodak moment, create picnics, create this, create that. So I would have the Kodak moment marriage. Well, it was a bit of a struggle, and a lot had to do with me when I thought mostly it had to do with him. A lot of finger pointing on my part, and I've learned differently by now. But I contended in prayer. I just kept going after it. That's what I mean when I say contend. That's a verb. Put it in knowing place journal. Contend, prophesy a healthy marriage in the name of Jesus, a healthy relationship with children in the name of Jesus, a healthy financial situation in the name of Jesus, a healthy medical situation in the name of Jesus. I just kept contending. Well, that's a 40-year contention, because I started dating my husband in high school, believe it or not. And anyway, this huge breakthrough has come in. I can't give you all the details because they're personal to me, but it's just too good, too delicious to pass it by and not share it with you. Because I think if you've been following me for a while, you know I share my heart. So I ask you to be kind in your comments. Nothing rude, please. I'm sharing my heart with you, so don't pour salt in it. And usually no one does. So I thank you for loving me. Well, fast forward 40 years later, and this AM, this morning, I'm actually on my knees at my altar in my room, and I'm praying the sorrowful mysteries. It was at the sorrowful mysteries, at the crucifixion, where Jesus declares that everything he needed to do, it has been done. His promise is fulfilled. The prophecies have been fulfilled. At that moment, my husband walks in. He hands me a Mother's Day card. Mother's Day was yesterday. I actually asked him, who's this from? Because I'm not used to getting these Mother's Day cards. I'm in other words, being nurtured in the heart area. So guess what was inside the Mother's Day card? Butterflies. Hope for the flowers. 30 years ago. Butterflies. And they're also, look, they're creative. They're flying. And butterflies are about resurrection. Did you know that? Can you be any happier for me? And I want to be this happy for you. What I'm saying is contend. St. Monica contended for 30 years. I was joking. I said, St. Monica's got nothing on me. I've been contending for 40. I bet you thought I was just 29. How could it be 40? But you hear my heart. I hope you hear the tenderness in my heart, because when I was here, I thought there was absolutely no way that I'd have this. Showed up today when I was on my knees, praying the last decade of the sorrowful mysteries. Thanks for hearing my heart today, and I pray that you don't give up hope, that hope doesn't disappoint. But faith looks like something. Faith looks like prophesying. Faith looks like in the suffering you still contend. Faith looks like you still are training your gaze at looking at him and his promises versus what the world is saying about different things. Because Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to the world. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. God bless you. Swim from my heart to yours. Ride the divine current. Do what love requires. And remember whose you are and who you are. God bless you.